right. Well, hey, man, I'm excited to be here. And my name is Allen from the Contractor License School. And this is Contractor USA. And I'm here right now with Jensen. So, Jensen, welcome. How's your week been?
It's been a good week. Very busy.
Awesome. And real quick, let everybody know, what's the company that you own? What is the name of that?
So the name of my company is Artisan Steel Designs Incorporated, and I'm a C23 ornamental metal contractor.
Oh, okay. And I'm sure you probably get this a lot. If you're talking to people out there that doesn't know a whole lot about construction, they're like, what the heck is that? Yeah. What do you do? Absolutely. Tell us, what is that?
You know, I've tossed around a bunch of different ways to say what I do because I do so much. But in reality, if it's made of metal and it goes on a building to decorate it, I make it. So pretty much anything besides structural. I don't do I-beams and actually put the building up, but, you know, the balcony railings, things like that decorate the building. Gates, trellises for landscape, et cetera, et cetera. So
I've seen some metal over, like, large fascias. Do you do that kind of stuff? Like, you would add that metal and make it look kind of cool, like decorative?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I did that on a house in Palm Desert, one of the houses that Microsoft purchased. So Bill Gates, and he would send down all his staff, you know, kind of a retreat home center, and it was crazy amazing looking. Yeah, beautiful. So you've been doing it how long now?
So in reality, I started freshman year in high school welding and just kind of taking shop class. Fell absolutely in love with it and have been obsessed with it ever since. And then, you know, eventually moved into the workforce. I went to college for it. Got an associate's degree in applied science and welding, and then entered the workforce. And, you know, 4 to 6 years later, I decided it's time to get my contractor's license. And so I found your wonderful school. And, you know.
Yeah. You actually did our homeschool program, right?
I did, yeah, the online homeschool program.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
So it works. You passed your exams.
First try.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, tell us about that experience. You basically found us, on Google or something? And then.
Yeah, you know, originally I had been driving down the 15, and I saw, I think it said budget contractor school, which I don't think is you.
Nope.
You weren't the same.
My competitor.
But that made me.
Good guys.
Yeah, well, hey, that competitor is what made me look in this area for contractor school. I got to your website, and the wording of your website said, hey, these guys are kind of down to earth. They're cool, you know.
Sweet.
And I really just was intrigued by your school, so I started looking at packages for what to do, and that's how I found you.
Awesome, man. I'm excited. And actually, you ended up, because kind of a side note, I have another podcast, Power to Gain Wealth, and what we do is we educate people and train them on how to start syndications and private equity funds and how to buy properties that they can rent out and create wealth. So, you know, we're in construction. We work on homes. We might as well own some homes, have some renters, produce some income. And you came to that conference, right?
I did.
The Power to Gain Wealth. Did you go to the next step and also go to the Daring to Win one?
I do believe so.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Which one was at the Hilton?
The Hilton one was the Daring to Win.
So then I did, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So Power to Gain Wealth, I believe, was here at this location originally, a little bit smaller. And then the Daring to Win was, there were quite a few speakers. I remember that. So I did both events. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's great. And so I'm excited that you have actually taken and begun to use some of the offerings that we have for you, even after you got your contractor's license, because you know we want to stay in your life and help you to grow and scale and that kind of stuff. So I'm glad you found us and you passed the test first try. So yes, that rocks. Now, how long has it been since you've had your license now?
I got licensed in, I want to say it came in June. I should know this, but about a year, a little under a year.
Okay.
In a nutshell, yeah. So.
Okay, now talk to us, because I think the audience would be interested in this. You went from school to working for other companies to a degree, and then you got licensed. Now, how was that transition when you began to go, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own? You have to start finding your own clients. You have to start building the business. Talk to me about that and how long of a process was that for you?
You know, every step of this way, I have found that I was much more nervous about certain things than I actually needed to be. You know, starting with the test, you know, I was thinking, oh, it's so hard, 250 questions. You know, ultimately, I found that if I I just did the work that you told me to do and studied the way that you told me to study. I passed it just fine. And the same kind of went with that transition, I originally was, I was working 40 hours for a place. I think the most difficult thing was actually finding, the fact that I ended up working 7 days a week, because I'd be 5 days a week at my day job, and then I'd leave work to go to work, and then on the weekends, instead of not working, I was working, right? And so there was a period of time that was very busy, and then, it actually just kind of, the universe kind of nudged me in that direction, because the company I was working for kind of started to slow down and actually have to let people go. And
was that a good thing or a bad thing?
It was such a good thing, because it just forced me to hey, rip the Band-Aid off, go and do your thing, And so what I did is, because I didn't have a whole lot of marketing budget in the beginning, and so I joined a networking group, and what I was able to do is form a couple of strategic partnerships, and that's been the biggest game changer for me, getting on board with already established landscaping businesses, home builders and stuff like that, who can, just use my product as part of what they're doing. If they're doing a $300,000 landscape job, well, my trellises are but a drop in the bucket for that. And so I was able to find pretty quickly very steady work by partnering with these people and showing them that my product is what they need.
That's awesome. Now, you said a couple of things that I liked. First of all was you would overthink it or kind of stress out about it. That's what I'm hearing you say. You were worrying a little bit about it, and it's not as hard as people think, right? If you just do one step at a time. And we're going to help them through that process, so that's our thing. The other thing is, I like that you said you jumped into a networking group. Now, I don't know if they want you to say their name. I don't care if you do. I want to put whatever people could do to help them. Is there a certain
actually, group? So it's called Prime Power Partners, PPP.
Okay.
And they meet at the obviously the ornamental metal contractor spot is already taken, so sorry, but there
can't join that then.
Yeah, they do only let one person of each classification kind of in there, and of course, there's more than just contractors in there, right? There's interior designers and people that own printing companies, et cetera, So, but that was a huge thing for me to join that group, and we meet once a week.
That's
we have
great.
A meeting. Do
they just have one, or are they U.S. wide?
I know that they certainly have a location or a meeting that happens in Oceanside, and I think one in Corona. So they are only California, just kind of Southern California, and they do.
I say that because we have begun a program called IE Masterminds, and what that is we bring in a lot of real estate. Not agents, but real estate investors. Now, these guys are worth millions. We have people in our rooms that are worth 30, 40, 50 million dollars. And the reason why I do that, because that's the world I'm in. A lot of people know me as a contractor, but my probably biggest day job is private equity fund manager, buying houses and things like that, and investing in apartment complexes. As some people might be able to see on the wall, I was pointing to the wall, some of the apartments I'm invested in. And so what we do with that is we're growing and scaling across the U.S. We want to be in every major city in the United States of America where contractors like you can come in, be in a room full of people that have a lot of money who all need contractors, because guess what? All these real estate investors, they're buying up real estate like crazy. Yesterday was over in Redlands buying real estate, signed the contract, put down the down, boom, another one. And so now we have to have contractors go in there and flood in, get that thing turned. And so I just wanted to push that. So I'm glad you got a part of that program. It's a good one. So whether people use that one or IE Mastermind or any other program, you're saying those are pretty good. That helped you out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, good. And so, for all those out there listening to us, that's a great piece of advice. Okay, so now you ripped the Band-Aid off. You jumped into it. Was that scary too at first?
It certainly was, because you go from the simple idea that all I have to do is show up with my body at work every day and, do a good job, right? Yeah. And I'll get a paycheck every single week, to, waking up in the morning and having the realization that what I do today, is my choice, and my choice is going to dictate my result. And getting that responsibility is certainly a little bit nerve-wracking, but at the same time, if I want to take a Monday afternoon off to go to the beach with my family, I do that. And then if I want to work Tuesday at 8 p.m. Into the night, then I'll do that, And so it's a blessing to have that responsibility, but it's also, a responsibility. Yeah. So I have to kind of, mentally keep myself right and keep myself straight and motivated to work, Luckily, I chose something that I'm absolutely passionate about.
It's awesome.
Playing with metal. I'm
better than that.
like a kid in my shop.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So.
Okay. So that was going to be one of my questions. So you have a family, and so that could put more stress on it, right?
Sure.
This job is phasing out that you're working for. Now you got to jump in and take care of your family and do your contribution portion, right? Yeah. And then you're jumping out there. How would you tell someone when they're making that transition how to handle that? What would you say if you could look back at yourself and go, just do this? And what would that be?
Certainly having some discipline prior to transitioning, and if you can come up with, for me, I had a number, $10,000. I just want to have that set aside so that as I go from this steady paycheck to, just to get through the transition, I wanted to make sure that if I need a little draw from this pile, I can. So
good.
That's one big thing. I think 10,000 is not a huge number. Yeah. Just save it up.
That's a good point, though. Have some money in there to jump.
Something, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So that's,
Was your wife nervous?
Oh, yeah. And she still is, She still is, certainly.
Yeah.
But, and there are times where, I go a week without a job, and then I have 5 the next week. You know what I mean? It's just like for the next 2 months I'm going, yeah, exactly. And so, part of that is, not setting my budget off of this, massive income that I'm having right now, and trying to remember that, okay, so, I made $10,000 this week. We'll put it away and draw weekly what I need to set myself a budget, right? So that when there may be a week that's a little scarce, that's okay because I have that draw. Perfect. And I didn't, so just learning to manage and to set a lifestyle budget.
Yeah. No, those are all good pieces of advice. I think one of the largest or most difficult transitions is once you begin to launch out on your own, if you don't have a large amount of capital, then you're trying to wean off your job, but still need that paycheck to a degree. Mm-hmm. And then from there, trying to get enough money to take care of yourself and your family. And then once you're able to make that transition, then there's a whole new animal, right? Now you're bidding jobs. Yeah. You're writing contracts. When you were a W-2 earner, were you writing contracts?
No.
Okay, so now you took on a whole other aspect, right? And then are any tricks of the trade that you can think of that, now that you're writing contracts how's that process?
Well, I purchased your package of legal contracts. I certainly recommend that, right? Because although I did the law test and all that, law is very complicated. Yeah. You've done the work to produce a home improvement contract that I can use and that I can trust and that I know is compatible with California state law.
Perfect.
And so, I simply fill that out and just learning the ins and outs of, so that I can kind of go over with the customer, hey, this whole mechanics lien thing, it's not scary. It's everyone, it's just part of, what California makes me do. Yeah. I always blame it on California. Hey, they make, I got to fill this out with you, That's essentially it.
That's awesome. Now, do you do mostly residential or commercial or federal, state? What do you do? Where's your niche?
Residential.
Mostly, okay. Do you want to do those other ones? Are you open to it?
I am open to it. I currently have no employees. I
Okay.
run the entire company myself.
Okay.
And, me particularly, the name of my company being Artisan Steel Designs. The reason I named it that is because I don't want to be Joe Schmo Steel Designs. I make artistic masterpieces for architecture, right? So they're very highly unique. I incorporate wood or acrylic and other medias and stuff. So, residential is certainly more of a market for me because there are those people that want the very personalized things.
Okay.
And sometimes in commercial, I don't get to be as artistic as I'd like. And so, I do which to a fault, I market myself,
Yeah.
and sell people, the fact that I'm going to make you this beautiful masterpiece for your gate. And so, the idea of hiring employees, I'm sure I could find someone that I could trust to kind of go under my wing and learn how to do it the way that I want it done. But I don't know that I'm looking to have a company that is like fully self-automated and running so that I can sell it one day. I think that my exit plan is more in the real estate. You know what I mean? So that I can preserve and hold on to that artistic aspect of what I do.
So you're an artist and you love what you do. You love spending time on the project. You love the creation at the end. You love to step back and go, wow, I did that. Now, what you do, is that the same thing? Did you watch the movie Castaway?
I have seen it.
Okay, you remember the movie at the end, that lady who's in the shop and she's making these big gigantic wings out of metal and all that kind of stuff? Is that similar to what you do? Make designs?
I mean, sure,
I don't know if you remember that part.
I don't know that I specifically remember that scene, but I mean that sounds kind of like sculpture,
Yeah, it's like a sculpture.
In reality, like, okay, so here's an example. I mean, I do anything from right now. What I'm working on is a steel frame gate with tongue and groove cedar boards in it, right? So it's kind of a multimedia thing, and it's just going to be a double swing gate.
Okay.
That so it's art, but it's functional, right? This is a functional art piece that's going to bring their property into pool compliance because they just dug a pool and et cetera, et cetera. So, but then again, a few weeks ago, I put some owl houses up for someone, right? So totally two different things.
Yeah.
And these were 12-foot poles sticking out of the ground with a little hut at the top where an owl's going to live because they had a gopher problem, right? So, So when I say if it's metal and it goes in your house, on your house to decorate it, I mean anything really. So. Not so much sculpture. I would do one if someone wanted it. I certainly would. Yeah.
So out of all these years of working for someone and doing it, what is one of your favorite projects? Could you describe that to us?
One of my favorite projects was someone had a fireplace, and what I did is I clad the entire fireplace. I wrapped it with sheet metal. And then I sprayed it with a bluing solution, kind of like a gun finish, and so that was a very cool because it was really showcased that metal itself is beautiful. Just metal. It doesn't necessarily need paint. And it's just a very modern look. I mean, that's just one thing that comes off the top of my head because it was a very interesting, very challenging project, to be able to get the steel sheets to stick to the wall with absolutely no screws in it, right?
Wow,
so
interesting. So you had to build some kind of framing inside, and then figure out how to secure it.
A skeleton, and then I basically clad it with totally seamless wrap of sheet metal around their fireplace.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
That, and then I do like making. I made some planter boxes. There's a house in Arizona, and this was a few years ago that I did this, and it's a 60,000 square foot home in Cave Creek, Arizona. Wow. Beautiful property. Okay. But we made some planter boxes that were 30 feet long, 15 feet wide, and they were 1/2 inch thick wall aluminum by 2 feet tall, and just kind of buried into the ground with a structure in between, and then it just planted everything in there. So. That's one other project.
Now, if there were some things that you would like to get more into that has to do with your field, whether it's residential, commercial, what kind of work would that be that you want to dive into? You're really excited about getting to do that.
So I really enjoy making security doors. And by security door, I mean, I do the fly strap all the way around. So it's not just a piece of steel that stops entry to your home. It's a beautiful work of art, right? That you can have your front door open and bugs don't get through. But that's what I really like doing is the entry door, because to me it's kind of like the first thing you see going into a house. So it really means a lot that someone would allow me to put my work on the very front of their home right there.
Gotcha. Yeah. What are some of the things other than gates that people that would be listening to this would go, maybe they didn't realize you did that, but they would love to have some of these things. Like, what are the main things you see people in homes? And also, what are the main things commercial buildings might want you for?
Well, on the less artistic side of things, I do sell a lot of backflow cages. Those big fire cages that come out of the ground. I mean, they need the protection on them, so I sell those quite a bit to plumbing companies, and then trellises. I sell a lot of trellises that are just, people want the vines to grow up their wall, and so I don't know. Those are two projects that I are very marketable.
Okay, great.
Demanding a lot. So.
Yeah, that's very cool. So things have been staying busy, so you're enjoying that. How do people find you other than that group of people that you get there? You have a website, and
I do have a website.
What is that?
It's artisansteeldesigns.com.
Okay, good.
And that's Artisan. A lot of people don't, spell artisan a little different.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, I have 2 magnets on the side of my truck with my license number, and my number underneath that. But I don't do a whole lot of marketing directly to the customer, really. I because of those strategic partnerships, almost all of my marketing is taken care of for me. These landscape, I work with RSI Landscaping and Bellaterra Landscape Design, and so they're an architect and a landscape contractor, as well as another interior design company. So between those 3 people, they're selling so many jobs, and their jobs almost always require some sort of steel product.
Okay.
And so that's
great.
The bulk of my business. So I focus more on strategic partnerships and marketing directly to other contractors who do bigger jobs.
Predominantly what? General contractors and landscapers, landscape design, that kind of stuff. Okay. How far in California would you be willing to go with your business?
So I will work anywhere from, and of course, in my immediate area, I'm willing to take on more jobs. I may charge a little more, but if the customer wants to pay it, I would go as far as Dana Point, as far as west. I'd go as far as Palm Desert east. I'd go as far as Corona north, and I'd go as far as, I guess, Oceanside south.
Okay, that's good. So, if there was some big, huge project, and your ticket item was going to be like over $1 million, you might go to NorCal. There was something huge.
I might go
I'm out there.
I might go to North Dakota. You know what I mean?
Go anywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? If the money's right, absolutely, I'll go.
Okay, cool.
And that's the goal, is to make myself, in demand enough that Artisan Steel Designs kind of becomes a name that people are seeking, and they're, hey, I'll pay. Please come out to do it out here. I don't mind paying a little extra because I really want your product.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you have some samples of stuff on your website, right? Maybe a little bit of photos and things like that. Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. So you've been doing this for a year on your own. You've been able to basically make budget, and you're able to hopefully give peace of mind to your spouse, right? Mm-hmm. And how does the future look in this particular industry right now with all the things going on economically? Has it affected you? Are you still just getting jobs and things are looking good?
One thing I've definitely noticed and wanted to pay attention to is the fact that automation and artificial intelligence is replacing as many people as it possibly can, just in the workforce in general. Any job that can be done by a robot will eventually be done by a robot, I believe. So that's why, as far as the future goes, I really try to continue with the artistic side that only a human can do, so that people really want that handmade look, that handmade type of product that can't be automated. Obviously they sell security doors at Home Depot for $250. Mine are $3,600 for the same size one. However, I made it, and there's a guarantee your neighbor's not going to have the same one, right? So it's people that are wanting to pay for that. That's kind of how I try to stay relevant in the market.
So someone who wants something that's a one of a kind,
exactly,
that kind of thing. And there are actually quite a bit of people that want that one of a kind thing, that gives it that flair of, hey, this is mine. I had an artist do this, and it's working out great. That's awesome. Now, do you find that a lot of the richer areas, more like along the coast of California, these guys who have really big homes, high end, big gates, are you getting work over in those areas? Are you doing more ranches in this area? Maybe some stuff in the wine country?
So actually, quite a bit of work down in wine country, and then certain communities like Summers Bend, that some of those newer communities that are coming up, even in Murrieta and Menifee, is where I've been doing most of my work. One huge target market for me is actually Dana Point, just because, selfishly, I love Dana Point. It's
beautiful.
The beach that I go to. I go to Strands Beach, so
that's awesome.
Any excuse for me to drive over the Ortega and go over there and work, I'll take it.
Are you a surfer then?
So.
Or just like to go to the beach?
I've taken maybe 3 or 4 surfing classes, so I'm about 3 or 4 surfing classes good at it, which is not very good. You know? But yeah.
Stand up, fall.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I just love sitting in the sun and letting the water wash over me.
That's I learned to surf in Santa Cruz when I was going to college. Kind of forced. The guys beat on my door in the dorm room, and like, Alan, come on, you got to go. I go where? And it's like 5 a.m. We were going surfing. I go, I don't even know how to surf. You're gonna learn. I don't even have a surfboard. Here's a surfboard. Here's a wetsuit. And they just drug me out there. I'm like, what am I doing out here? They're like, the waves are double overhead. I go, I have no clue what that even means, but that sounds crazy. And it's raining like crazy. You guys brought me out here in the rain. But wait, what if I have to go pee? Go in your wetsuit. I'm like, what? I'm like, whatever. The water there in Santa Cruz is a little bit chilly. Well, same in San Diego. I fell in love with it, actually. And, and so now I have a house in Hawaii. And so I have a couple surfboards out there and enjoying that. Just came back from there on Monday, those kinds of things. Now, you talked about something I thought that was interesting. It actually segues into something that I'm doing. You want to maybe set up your retirement in real estate, right? So you're probably going to look. Have you gotten any real estate yet that you bought for yourself in the sense of to use to produce income for you?
Not quite yet. I'm still kind of in the getting Artisan Steel Designs like really steady, right? And I'm getting there, getting very close to the point where. Okay, hey, we're breathing, we're good. We booked a trip to Costa Rica, so there's extra money. It's not just paying the bills. We're having fun. Good. But it is getting to that point where it's time to start. Okay, let's put some money into building wealth in a different way.
Exactly.
So that I can eventually kind of have an exit plan from steel.
One of my strategies, when you attended the class, was to set up your self-directed IRA. Have you even gotten a chance to do that yet? It's okay if you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Okay, no worries. Well, we'll definitely be in connection and talking about that, get you set up so we can get you going and growing. And people don't get to see my producer, but he actually is an investor in all of our stuff, because not only is he getting a paycheck, but he's also part owner in several of the real estate projects. Well, one at a time he's been doing them. And each one comes back, gives him a return, and he's growing his wealth in 2 ways. Sure. And so that's the kind of thing that we want to see our contractors do, because our goal is not to just one and done you. You come in here, you go to our school, and boom, you're out. We offer all kinds of free courses, from tax training seminars so you can reduce your tax burden. We specialize in construction, so that's all we really focus on in that specific area. But then getting you guys as not only contractors who are going to do the work on our projects, but also in investors who actually own a portion of that with me. You go on the deed. You are in partnership with me. We own it. And then you get access to all of my Zoom trainings, which end up training you on how to buy your own real estate. And then what's totally cool about that is, if you want to go out on your own, I'm going to send you out like a child. Go for it, man. You need help? I'm here, man. You need some investment? I'm here, because I want you guys to be able to grow your wealth and do amazing things. You know what I mean? I just really got sick and tired of seeing all my buddies when I was doing construction years ago. This is long before I even knew how to invest. I got sick and tired of seeing these investors come in and then whittle down the contractors to basically nothing. And they're just, they're taking advantage. Sometimes, not all investors, there's a lot of really great ones, but some of them would take advantage of these contractors, and they would walk away making bank, and the contractors make nothing. So I thought to myself, how can I create a space where the contractors and I can buy the homes, do the work, and own the project, and be the investors, and reap the reward? And that's what we do, man. So I'm excited to see you get involved in that. So I'm going to be, I'm looking forward to helping you with that particular process.
That's a reason I chose your school. I knew that there was more to it than just, okay, we're going to help you pass this test, this big, daunting, scary test. No, I knew that that there was a future with having a connection with this school and with you, Alan. So I've always looked up to the idea that you're going to help me even after I've gotten my license. You don't just forget about me, So it's been well worth the investment, and that's why I chose your school. So.
That's awesome. Now, by chance, did you get an opportunity to go sign up yet for Home Pro Works? It's free for the contractors who go through any of our programs. And what it is you get listed in there, and then when people like hoteliers, restaurateurs, or anybody looking for construction, residential homeowners, they want to find a contractor, I just go, hey, go to my website. They go there, they set up their dashboard, and they just go, oh, I need an ornamental contractor. Oh, I need a general contractor. I don't know if you got an opportunity to do that, but if you haven't, definitely do that.
Yeah, I know I've definitely explored that website. I don't believe I made an account, but, it's a good reminder. I know I've just kind of been all over the place. And, so.
It's all right. No worries. It can be starting your business and then managing all the different steps of that business. It's a learning curve. And
Absolutely.
You're out there doing that, and you gotta, at the end of the day, you got to produce to pay the bills. Yep. So that's your high priority right now. So, definitely when you get a chance, do that, because we built that for all of our people that are involved in our program. We even have a thing, because we're predominantly in California, so we don't have contractor schools outside of California, but we have curriculum like construction project management courses, things like that these guys and gals, contractors across the U.S., because they hear the podcast, that they can actually jump into that program, and now they've been with us. Now they can get listed there for free. We'll never charge them the rest of their life. Get listed on that website, and now people that are doing jobs in their area that need them can find them. And then we build an amazing community of contractors that are using each other. Because can you imagine if there's general contractors or designers and they're looking for you, they can go there and go, he's a part of our community. Let's get a hold of him. If there's projects big enough, you're saying, yeah, man, I'll go outside of California if they're big enough. Boom, why not? Yeah. Now, do you do everything on your own? Does your wife help you out a little bit here and there? Or are you just, right now just kind of taking care of the house and kids? And
she, that's exactly how she helps me. You know what I mean? She goes to full-time yoga school, so she's becoming a yoga teacher.
Nice.
And so she's in the school to be basically teacher training, and so she teaches 4 classes a week. But
nice.
The amazing
your income that way.
Yeah, the amazing thing that she does is the fact that we eat home cooked meals every single day, all day. She is an incredible cook.
Wonder why you look so good, bro.
I feel so healthy and abundant and able to do my job because of the absolutely healthy food that she cooks.
Awesome.
And so other than that, we support each other. She supports my business. Nice. I support her in going to yoga school, and eventually we're going to get her going with her own business and start doing a practice for herself. So that's cool.
That's neat, man. And how many kids you have?
Just one.
Just one right now?
She's 10. She turned 10 last month, and we actually do homeschool 2 days a week, and then she goes to school 3 days a week. So Wednesday,
very good.
Just kind of a close little family. And then we have a dog.
Okay,
so that's our whole little family.
Hey,
and
there you go.
And the dog is very important. He's brought us all together in a different way, and so.
All right, awesome. So for a new contractor, what would you say to them, just starting out?
A new contractor, someone who's just gotten their license,
just gotten their license. What would you say to them? Any advice?
Get to know as many people out there as possible. Join a network group. Do things like a podcast. I didn't know what to expect today, but this is something. Anything that I can do to connect myself with more people. Yeah. Even if it's something that seems unrelated, like going to a TEDx talk or something, something that's local community. Yeah. You never know what connection you're going to make that opens up an entire world of business for you. I had no idea that I'd be partnering with a landscape contractor. Okay. I thought it would be all general contractors for buildings. Yeah. But so, just being completely open-minded to a connection with anyone and everyone.
That's awesome.
And getting to know people is huge.
So The Blue Ocean, which is a book, it's basically... You guys can read the book. It's all great. Anybody listening, it's actually a great Audible if you want to listen to it. But the main premise is what makes you different? If there's other people doing your trade, some things you can say and it's like, okay, well, they can't know that till they see it. But in your mind, what makes you different than the other guys or gals out there? Not that they're not bad. It's just what makes you different.
Well, Passion. I mean, I absolutely love doing what I do.
It's good. Yeah.
It's not like I chose an industry. I'm like, okay, this one looks like it's moving up. I'll just choose that one. You know, I thoroughly enjoy melting metal and playing with metal. I mean, it's just my jam. It's my thing, right? Nice. So, in reality, I build everything that I build with the idea that whatever decision I make today on your product is going to be there for 15 years. Yeah. You're going to see it, you know. So that little blemish or whatever that maybe most people won't care about, I care about it, you know. So that's it. Just really taking heart into what I do and loving it and trying to communicate with the customer and make their dream come true, rather than just slapping up a gate and say, okay, fill your pool up, you know. Yeah.
No, that's good. And I could see your passion. I've seen that in our conversations when you came to the event and stuff like that. And I could see that you really do love what you do. And so that's the thing. And when people treat it like it's just a cash money making machine, they're just trying to crank out work. But you love what you do. You want to do good work for your artist. Now, one of our blue ocean things that we do, and I would encourage you to take advantage of it, is get some video on your cell phone and send it to us. My producer will make you a killer video, and then that way you could use that, especially if you go buy 3 or 4 different types of jobs, even explain a little bit. He'll make a killer video, and then you can take that video and use that to send to your clients when they reach out to you and go, hey, here's our work. Or let's say you want to get a part of another landscape design company and they don't know you from Adam, right? You could say, hey, send them an email. Take a look at this. You know, if you want to use me, you know, we would love to be able to do some work for you. And then it just builds your business. And that's our way of saying thank you for choosing us. Thank you for, you know, being a part of this community. Our goal really is to just build something that creates wealth and where we could see our families blessed, we could see our business blessed, we could see our clients blessed, and really at the end of the day, just add amazing goodness to humanity. And that's really the goal, you know what I mean? And so I'm glad you were a part of the program with us, man. And I'm excited for people to find you. And so Artisan Steel Designs, Inc., what's the website again?
ArtisanSteelDesigns.com.
There you go. Yeah. And so my producer will put that up on the thing. So people will see that. And they can find out more stuff in the description. So I do want people to know that if you're a contractor, no matter what state they're in, hey, let us know if you want to be on this podcast, and I would love to interview you, get to know you, and I'm glad, Jensen, that you were able to make it out, and appreciate you, brother. Absolutely. Any last words you'd like to say to anybody?
Have a good life. It's a good life.
Have a good life. I love it, bro. All right, thanks, brother.
Thank you.